Hello, welcome. You're welcome to SaharaTV, reaching you live from New York City. My name is Omoyele Sowore, and for those of you who have been following the political development since elections ended on May 28th, that's presidential elections, and of course the inauguration of the new president on May 29th. I apologize. You see that there's been a lot of political developments, especially on the legislative side of business in Nigeria. Not much has happened on the executive side because President Muhammadu Buhari has not selected a government. He hasn't appointed people to positions, and there's a growing apprehension in the country that things are not moving as fast as possible. But most importantly, he made mention of the fact that he met an empty treasury. So we are having with us today Governor Rochas Okorocha of Imo State, who is one of the frontline governors, in fact, the only governor in the eastern part of Nigeria who got returned to office on the ticket of the All Progressives Congress, the APC. We have Governor Okorocha reaching us from Turkey today. So thank you so much for coming on our show, Governor Okorocha.
Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you.
Yes, so the first question, of course, is that the APC, your party, the All Progressives Congress, came up with a united front before the election. In fact, nothing like that in Nigeria's political history has ever been seen, where within a short period the party was formed and they went and defeated a party that has been in power for 16 years and a party that claims to be the most popular party on the continent of Africa. But a few weeks after that, your party seems to be falling apart. Explain to Nigerians why it seems that at the APC, the center can no longer hold.
Well, my friend, Omoyele, am I right?
Yes, Omoyele Sowore is my last name. Yes.
First, let me thank you and Sahara reporters. You're doing a very great job, and we're quite happy that we have one of our own making so much impact in the media world. I want to congratulate you on that. But coming to the question you've just asked, you ended up so abruptly, making me feel as if my party is in disarray. No, I disagree. The party is not in disarray at all. What you are witnessing is real democracy that is devoid of imposition. And so when people are allowed some level of free will to exercise their freedom, then most people misunderstand to be quarrels. I don't think our party is in disarray. I'm happy you noted that this party came into being as a result of an unusual emergence of a group of people and parties that came together to form a new political party, which is not common in our checkered political history. People would always feel that it is impossible to have parties come together. People doubted us. We came together. They never believed that we could have a presidential primaries devoid of rancor, a presidential primary that I was one of the participants. And that primaries went, and we all still came together much stronger than we were even before the primaries. No one gave us a chance that we're going to win an incumbent president, an incumbent federal government with all the forces of coercion, the military, the police, the army, the SSS, all these powers that be. No one could believe that an armless group could take over a government that control the
Governor, maybe I should quickly jump in there, because some of the governors from APC are actually calling for the resignation of the party chairman, John Oyegun, as we speak. The person who is the deputy Senate president is a member of the PDP, whereas he ought to have been a member of the APC. The National Assembly lower house, that is House of Representatives, was a boxing ground this last week. And these are your party members duking it out there.
But that's the point I'm making to you. I wanted to give you a little bit of background of where we're coming from.
Okay.
And it at which we came together, very various group of people, different parties, different interests. If I don't give you this background, then you might understand the answer I'm about to give you at the end of it all. But let me go straight to, since you're anxious of knowing what's going to happen at the National Assembly, as the chairman of the APC Governors Forum, we've met on this matter, several on how to resolve this seemingly disagreement and pocket of interest in the party. Let me mention to you that the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our dear President, is not a man that believes in imposition. So you don't see him play the normal role, traditional role, that any president or any governor will play when coming to the issues of electing the principal officers or presiding officers of the assembly, be it at the state level or at the national level. If you watch the President, Muhammad Buhari is not really bring himself imposing and say, I want this or that. And I think because of that, his neutrality that created what you see today as disagreement, or if you like, quarrels that is happening, because now it became an open field for anybody who feels they want to contest. But to give you a background to that, the president had earlier said to everyone, let the National Assemblies take whoever they want, their leaders, select whoever they want. And that's the basis for this. And at a particular point, the party felt that in the principles of zoning and equity, justice and fairness, can we now begin to zone these offices so that everyone has at least to feel part of the nation in terms of what position one holds, which is still traditional with our politics. And I think that's where the angle the party came in from. And when there were two struggles of two individuals, for instance, you have the Saraki group and the Lawal group. Now, in the case of Saraki group, when Saraki group noticed that the party had conducted a mock primaries, which tend to favor his opponent, that is Lawal, then Saraki re-strategized, I think that was what people called disagreement, and started to negotiate with the PDP people. And in the course of negotiation, the PDP now have upper hand because PDP itself has 49 members of the Senate. And we have only 59. So the difference between APC and PDP is just only 10 senators, and who could move either way. So we didn't have that overwhelming majority at the Senate. So it was easier for Saraki to have gone to the PDP to negotiate. What was important to him was to become the Senate president, as against Lawal becoming the Senate president. Now, Lawal relied on the 59 persons we have. Now, they have shared the 59 people, and Saraki had some, Lawal has some, and if any PDP candidate had come up to show interest, say, for instance, David Mark had wanted to run for this election, David Mark would have clearly become the Senate president, which would have been a taboo to our party. So it is a disagreement between these two parties, and parties' inability to say to A, stop and you go, and allowing them to the tail end of the whole exercise to go for this contest that brought about this. And so we thank God that a PDP person is not a Senate president. Yes, I agree that Deputy Senate President is now PDP, but that is as a result of the negotiation which we did. Is that good for our party? No. Are we hot? Yes, we're hot. Do we feel bad? Yes, we do feel bad that a non-PDP member is a member of the is a Deputy Senate President. But the matter would have been worse if PDP had produced the Senate President. And again, that's what brought this back again to the issue of other principal officers, and we called for a meeting. And that was in my house just last week, and he's saying that now, the first mistake had been made, whether it is mistake or democracy, since it's not with the consent of the party, and it's not with the full endorsement of the governors, some of the governors, we thought as a family we should have resolved this matter than washing our dirty linens outside. That's what we call it. But thereafter, we all agree that, listen, since the mistake I've made, let's try to accommodate others on the principles of zoning. But you see, the National Assembly, again, has its way of doing things. It's just like what happened in the PDP era when Tambuwal emerged as the speaker. Not acceptable to the party, not the presidency. It's the same scenario that's playing out here. That when you get people of the National Assembly, the freedom they have, they're entirely on their own. So what we have worked here is lobbying, and I think our party did not do enough of the lobbying that we need to do to discuss these matters in-house. And coming to the party angle, speaking for the party also, the party structure, because of the way we rushed into election, we didn't have the organs of the party functional. We only have the National Working Committee working, which is about 20-something people. That's not enough to carry out the major decision of the party. So the NEC is not functioning. The caucus is not functioning. The board of trustees are not functioning. So because these arms of party is not functioning, it became difficult for the party itself to take a decision and stamp its feet on an issue. I think that's what you see playing out. But that does not in any way put our party in disarray. It's just that we have allowed our men in the House to have their, what you call, unquote, absolute freedom in deciding who govern them.
Well, Governor, thank you for that background. Let's go straight now to your president, who is your party leader, President of Nigeria. It's almost a month after he took over power, and he's yet to form a government. And there's just absolute disillusionment within Nigerian society that he's too slow. He hasn't. We don't know who is his chief of staff, who is the SGF. We don't know who his ministers are. And as a matter of fact, people are saying maybe if he had some of these officials in place, the kind of crisis that you are facing now with the House would have been undertaken in a more diplomatic way. Considering that he would also have a PLO, a presidential liaison officer with the House who could have taken care of some of this problem. Can you explain to us and the Nigerian public why things are so slow, why there seems to be a lot of motion, no movement within the first 1 month of this government?
Well, Omoyele, I want to get your name.
Omoyele, yes.
Let me say to you, every government has their style, and I think President Muhammad Buhari has his own style. But let you understand that the handover we had, that is from President Jonathan, President Buhari, was not the normal type of handover. And I'm aware, I'm speaking authoritatively as an insider of this government, to say that what you saw as handover were what is called an apparent handover, which does not reflect the actual practical realities of a proper handover. What I'm saying is that as the president stands as at last week or last 2 weeks, he has nothing before him to tell him what responsibilities, where the other government is coming from, and where he's taking over from. And then he decided to set up an 18-man committee. And this 18-man committee, because he wants to get it right, of seasoned professionals, people of different backgrounds, to come together and began to go almost on one-to-one basis, going to the various ministries, at least to extract information, to know how much do we even have as a nation, what are our responsibilities, what are the duties of the various ministries, where do you stop, what do you do? Those informations were not there. I assure you, if the handover had been proper, by now all these people would have emerged. And you have to know what is there to know what caliber of persons or who should do what or what. So now, that is one of the major challenges I think Muhammad Buhari has as a person, as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I tell you something, the challenge he has, and I believe to a greater extent, I'm not speaking for him because I don't know, but I assume, is how do you balance on quotes people that you feel that can do this job, and again, those that you have to satisfy the political sentiments of those who brought you to power. These are issues also that struggle.
Are you saying there that you have a godfather problem with Buhari, that there are people who brought him to power who are looking for their payday?
Oh, no, I'm not talking about godfather. I'm not talking about an individual. I'm talking about collective work for every Nigerian that played a role in that election, state by state. Okay. You hardly say categorically that governors will not send lists to him.
Yeah. So you don't have a nominee as a minister from Imo State to Buhari. That's what you're saying. And governors across the country will not enjoy those kind of privileges that used to be there.
No nominee for minister, but I believe that Mr. President should be able to ask me a question. This gentleman that is coming from your state, assume he chooses somebody, what do you think? I think it's courtesy, and I believe he will do that. But I think he's looking beyond what we're looking at as a people. And as a leader, you must take decision. So what I think he's doing is to make sure he gets it right. And it's better appointing ministers 1 month later and getting it right, or appointing ministers 2 days after and getting it wrong. Some people have suggested he should have removed the service chiefs. Now, where would he start from if he removed the service chiefs under the circumstances? Remember, it was not a normal handover. It was a handover that was never expected to be. So he has to be patient to work with at least the few service chiefs and some few people. Since the president dissolved the foreign ministers, I'm sure if the president never dissolved by constitution his ministers, he would still be working with them. These are Nigerians, but what he's trying to do is to get it right first before now he can take decisive decision on what to do.
Yes. So, Governor, I just, because I want us to reach, cover as much ground as possible in this interview before you run away or before time is over. And we appreciate your presence. Okay. One other thing is the question of the treasury. President Buhari came and said, I met an empty treasury. A few days later, he's distributing money to governors. And some members of the former regime have told us that they left enough money for the government to start running. And, that this idea of empty treasury is not true. Or that if the treasury was empty, it was you guys and the state governors that emptied the treasury, not the federal government. What do you have to say to this?
Well, if Buhari used the word near empty treasury, I think he's being kind with the word. I think what you have is absolute lack, complete emptiness in the treasury. And unfortunate that we have to speak this to the hearing of the world. But the economy of Nigeria was poorly managed. And when people say to us that governors of a state, I'm sure you are not aware that out of the 100% resources of this land, and talking about what comes into federation accounts for the states and that federal government takes 56% of that money. And state government takes only about 24% of that money. And then look the balance of local government. So where then is the state? I'm talking about 36 states sharing 26%, while federal government takes 54%. So why would you think that a governor, how much comes to a state governor or a state government? How much would in the question? Do you believe that?
But you also have complete control of the local government treasury. You have access to it. You spend the local government money as well, in addition to the state money. At the state level, because I assume in Imo State you don't have local government chairman elected, so you control the joint account of the state and the local government. That's a lot of money for you to manage as well.
That's not absolutely right. Where there are no local government chairman, you have what's called a transition committee, which presides over the local government as though there's an elected local government chairman. And if you want to go into detail of that, I can provide more information on that. But let's go back to the point before us. Okay. I'm just telling you about the funds. So nobody could have said the states are responsible for looting the treasury. No. But what happened was there was total mismanagement of resources of Nigeria. And there's true accountability. We don't even know how much NNPC has, our oil, our source of revenue. We don't even know how we have, what we make as a nation. No information whatsoever. And how would you say that 3 months before the end of the last administration, 6 months before, states could not pay salaries because what comes into a subvention account is so meager. Could you believe that some states in Nigeria gets just about 1.4 billion? How much is 4.4 billion? You'll be shocked what it is. And you have the salary burden to pay and all that. So let me say for a fact that it's unfortunate that Buhari came in at a time he has to come in. And I wish him well, but listen, the gentleman has an uphill task to face as far as the revenue of the resources of this nation is concerned. So, and we know that there's dwindling oil revenue because the price of oil has gone down from over 100 to now just 60 and sometimes below. It got down to about 40 something. So you expect that. And then the issue of oil theft, that over 400,000 barrels of oil miss in Nigeria every day. As you pump from the source, half of the oil goes into private jetties and go anywhere outside this country for smugglers. So we're facing a serious challenge at this time. Probably that calls also for us to look at diversification of our economy and looking at what to look at other sources of revenue other than depending on oil. Maybe it might be a lesson for us, and I think it should be a lesson. But take it that Muhammad Buhari met an empty treasury. Some result of poor management, some because of the global economic change that has affected our nation.
Yes, Governor, let me just take one step backwards. During the election, you were quite vocal. In fact, we watched you, and your video at the APC primaries went viral that we put up. But that did not translate to votes for your party in the southeastern part of the country. What happened? Well,
I tell you something. Thank you, because that probably is because what we saw in the southeast was not an election, really. It was what I call impunity. It was almost an attack on the people. People got it wrong to say that APC is not in the southeast. It's not true. APC is strong in the southeast, but the only strength of PDP was in the southeast and south-south. So the strategy of the then government was to make sure they capture the south-south and southeast at all costs, and whatever impact they're able to make in the north, they'll make do with it, because General Buhari is from the north. That was the simple thing, and the vice president candidate is from the southwest. So they felt that naturally, since the president and the vice president is not from either the south side or southeast, that was their catchment area. And they bring in the armed forces, everything that they had to do to take over that place. And literally, in most of the places, there was no election. But what we were able to do was they wanted to have a repeat of what happened in 2011, where they wrote 7.2 million votes for the then president of Nigeria. I mean, PDP wrote results of 7.2 million, and they wanted to come back with the same strategy. But this time, they met us face to face, literally at war with the military and with the police, and those who wanted to rig this election, because they had all these men at their disposal doing whatever they like. So we're able to stop them, and they were able to write results about 500,000 in Imo, 600,000 in Anambra, 300,000 in Ebonyi. We were able to stop them. So they could not write the 7.2 million. If they had written the 7.2 million like they did in 2011, General Buhari would not be the president. So you must appreciate what the Southeast went through and the South side. Imagine Rivers, as strong as Amechi would be politically, even if he's the weakest governor, there's no way he will stand and his candidate will lose to the other person with 1.4 million votes, and he has nothing, even in his own village. That's telling you the level of impunity. So it's a wrong statement to say I was vocal and we're not strong in the South. It's not. What happened is just that they wanted to make sure that Buhari does not get 25% in the Southeast and South-South. And if that had been done, we wouldn't have been talking about President Muhammad Buhari today as the president of Nigeria. So the Southeast must be commended. And that's part of the worries of the Southeast now, the National Assembly, where the Southeast APC is not getting any of the principal officers. I was saying, no, that is not fair to APC Southeast. And so I must tell you that we did our best. And in Imo was near a war. I'm sure you heard about it. Even when we won the election, they called for a supplementary election. Yeah. And we see it. Yeah. So for most people, are you there?
Yes, we're here. I'm listening to you.
And for most people, they have said to me that I went to election with a PDP candidate. I never went to election with a PDP candidate. I went to election with the army, the police, all the armed forces that they were using as a force of coercion to write the results. So APC is strong in the Southeast, believe me.
Yes. Governor, we come back to your state where you were governor before and you won the election again. And just as we're about going on air with you, we got this very well written and seriously circulated petition calling for your impeachment because they said you hadn't paid salaries for 11 months. Or in some cases, you hadn't paid salaries for 6 months or 4 months. And you hadn't paid pensioners in the state for 18 months. So what do you say to this? Because you are the second governor to be that is facing that kind of very hostile petitioning from citizens in their state, first being Osun State, in which clearly hasn't paid salaries for 7 months. What do you have to say to this?
Well, and you know, Sahara Reporter, that's another place I might have to advise you. Yes. Source of information and being able to verify information.
Yes.
Nowadays, as you know, internet is garbage in, garbage out. And you can post anything. Anybody can. I can stay here now and say, listen, Sahara Reporter has been closed down for false information. That is not right.
That's right.
And people are gullible. So political opponents have decided to use media, listen, like yours and the internet to dispense rumors. It's not true. Let me tell you.
Okay.
Imo State is about one of the only states that has kept federal salary for the past 4 years until these last 2 months. And that is verifiable. And the Imo people are there for you to make a call and then interview them like I'm speaking to you now.
Yes.
Well, we've all met with all salaries. In fact, when others were paying 18,000 minimum wage, Imo State was the only state paying 20,000 naira minimum wage. We're paying commerce and conheads to health workers, counties, and all the extra funds we pay to make sure that our workers are happy. And our workers in Imo State are happy. And if workers in Imo State are being owed, I'm sure you have heard that they're going on strike.
Yes.
Because I am the chairman of APC Governors Forum. So when I make a speech or statement, I say, governors are not able to pay salary. People mistake it to mean Rochas government is not paying salary. But I'm for the rest of the governors. And that's not to say. Today, as it stands, in some ministries we're owing just 1 month, and in some 2 months. Now, there's only one parastatal, which is called the water board. And I've said to them, I will not pay you because you should produce, you should generate income to pay yourself. And I say for the past 6 months, I will not pay them. And how much is their salary? Some of them are for just 14 million naira a month. But I say, this amount, if you cannot generate it, then you are not worth being called a parastatal. These are the only ones. And we've paid our pension, we've been paid gratuity to those whose gratuities are below 500,000, owed for many years, over 16 billion. So you're not, it's not right, it's not true. We're not owing 11 months of salary. Come on.
So, but you say you are owing 2 months?
Well, in some ministries, 2 months, and actual is 1 month for the last month, when the situation became beyond what it is. And the workers, I had a meeting with them, and they're quite happy with it.
Yes.
At least understand I've been keeping faith with them. So for someone to say I've not paid salaries for 11 months is a fabricated fallacy which does not reflect any practical realities.
Yeah, Governor, I have something that may not concern you directly, but has been trending a lot, which is the crisis at the Federal Medical Center in Sowore. You actually went there, I mean in your state, to intervene. And the workers said to you they want the people who are running the place, who have run the place in a way they disagree with, to be removed from office. What do you have to say to this? Now that you are close to the federal government, are you going to intervene and ask President Buhari or whomever is involved at the federal level to resolve this issue? Because it's been lingering for a while.
Well, thank you for understanding that I went there personally myself.
Yes.
But it concerns my people and my state, though it's a federal government establishment in my state. But I went there and I talked to workers, only to find out that the workers are not even talking about non-payment of salary. All that they say that they want the CMD, the woman, to leave the office. And what is her fault? That she's wicked. I mean, if the woman is doing the job and that she's wicked, I don't understand. I couldn't place the truth. And I pleaded with them to go back to work. So while I look into the matter, they said they wanted the board to ask the woman, or the president to ask the woman to step aside, even if it's for 2 months, while they investigate her before they can go back to work. And I told them, you cannot eat your cake and have it. You have made your impact. But I've taken the matter with the president, and the president have asked me, in fact, to invite the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Health, and all concerned, and take a decision on that matter. So I'm still handling that. But it's a situation where how can you have almost 90% of the workers saying no to one person unanimously?
Yes.
So here again, you see the woman who is doing very, very well. She's changed the place with the infrastructures. And one of the arguments is that why is she building infrastructures without paying them their overtime allowance? You see, these are two things that you look at. So I believe that the best thing for them to do would have been to go back to work for the sake of the Imo people and for the sake of sick people, so that their mother can be looked into. If the woman cannot be there for whatever reason, she doesn't have a teamwork spirit, then we can ask her to leave. Then while somebody else comes in. But saying that she must leave before you go to work, we are not talking about the issue of salary, it's not within your area of jurisdiction, actually, as labor union to do so.
Yes. So there's another question about this growing movement in the southeast of the Biafran separatists who are calling for secession from Nigeria once again. To the extent now they have a radio station called Radio Biafra, or Biafra Radio, that is transmitting in the southeast, and people are saying there's a lot of messages there that giving people a lot of concern. What do you, as a governor, say to people who feel that they legitimately have lost faith in the Nigerian state, who are agitating for separation like they did some 40-something years ago?
Well, the issue of MOSOP, as it stands today, is still something that is a bit, how do I put it? Not worrisome, but something that looks like a mirage. It's like the more you look, the less you see, because you cannot say who actually is behind this and where is this radio station. We've made inquiries to find out this radio station is not even in Imo State itself, so you might not even know who is broadcasting this. It could be somebody somewhere for some reason of grievances, or who want to create an impact, a negative impact, who stay somewhere by the tree side. Nowadays, you can broadcast from anywhere, and people listen to you. So I don't think that MOSOP has the backing of the Southeast or any leader of the Southeast or any Igbo man per se. The war is gone and gone. What we're asking now is the dignity of an Igbo, and not necessarily for this broadcast. So let me to make the point simpler is that we're looking into the matter. It's a security issue. It might not be appropriate for me to say all here, but just know that this doesn't have the backing of the Southeast or any Igbo man at all, not of any shade or opinion. It must have been some of these people, just like you have anybody write an agenda. It might be 2 persons doing this. It might just be 5 persons broadcasting from anywhere. So some of the media houses that imagine out there, some of them have only 3 persons who can record something and keep playing them on and on and on and abuse people, trying to create tension, trying to create relevance, just like they've gotten your attention now. And we're able to discuss this on the world Sahara reporter television. And so it's getting recognition now gradually. And that's what we want to avoid before you build a monster you cannot destroy. So what is important there, this is not something that has to do with any Southeasterner or any Igbo man calling for secession. Definitely not. No Igbo man is calling for that. But our eyes on it, lest it become like what you have in the north when Boko Haram started like a child's play, and we couldn't nip it on the board, and it has escalated to become of international concern. So that also we're looking at and making sure that it doesn't get out of hand to that. But rest assured, and I'm confident that the membership of this is just very few people who are creating this awareness, and see people who can be gullible that will believe them.
So last question, Governor, is to ask you, what should Nigerians look for? Because apparently nobody is clear about what President Buhari is up to, and you're an insider. And we have lots of expectation, especially in terms of the war against corruption. Buhari has said he's recovering money. From whom, from where, nobody knows. There are conflicting reports, and these days people are just wondering what is going on. What are the first 3 things you think Nigerians would see when he decide, or your party or the government decide to hit the ground running, that will make that will put smile back on the face of the Nigerian people?
Well, you remember our slogan? Our slogan is change. I'm sure you're with us that. And I believe that if you keep doing the same old thing, the same old way, you'll keep getting the same old result. This is time for change. So we must do things differently. We must think outside the box. I think what Nigerians expect now will be when Buhari was sworn in. Now, take this number of people, lock them up, whether they are corrupt or not, push them to the cell so that the world will clap for me that I'm fighting corruption. They will expect that he will appoint ministers and swear them in the following day. and activities will start this idea of camouflage administration. I think the man wants to get deep to the root of Nigerian problem. And he's not a man of many words. He has simply said what he wants to do. And I pray he succeeds. That's my wish. He said to Nigerians, listen, I will tackle the issue of corruption. And he said he's going to recover money. Believe me, he will recover this money. And sometimes, if the intention is to recover money, it's a two different things of whether the intention is to catch the thief or to recover the money. There are two different things. I think he wants to recover the money. And that is more important for our economy as we stand now. And I think he's doing just that. And the issue, and he has told the world that, listen, I will handle two major issues: insecurity, corruption, and power, electricity. And precisely that's what I'm here for. I'm here to look at the possibility of what I can do to get an emergency energy for the industrial takeoff of my state, because I've said to people, listen, this time around it's going to be industry, factory, job, employment, which is wealth creation. Now, here's his program. His program is this: I'll give you power, I'll do power, I'll stop corruption, and then I would tackle the insurgency. When he started that, he has gone to Niger Republic. He's gone to some few African countries. He was last time in Germany for the G7, talking to the world leaders. Everyone has a strategy. And as you know him and his personality, he's not a noise-making president. And I think he will get it right. I just want to appeal that we exercise a bit of patience to see what to expect. But what do you expect? Expect change. That we're going to do things differently from the way things have been done before. And if President Buhari can succeed in giving Nigerians power, even if it's just 20,000 megawatts of electricity, even if it's 15 or 20,000 to kick off our industrial revolution, that will be it. If this corruption will stop, and corruption starts from the head, let me tell you, nobody can stop corruption if the head is corrupt.
Let me ask you one last question. I know I asked the last question. This is private. When you went to Abuja to discuss the issue of the empty treasury and getting more money for the state bailout, we saw you in a private jet. I know you have a private jet. And you had put it up for sale a while ago. I actually was tracking it. But suddenly, it seems that you are still using it. Does it mean that your condition improved so well, you kept the jet and you're just cruising around in it? It costs a lot of money to maintain a jet.
I like that.
Yes.
Just remember, you're talking to Rochas. Rochas before the governor and Rochas the governor. But what happened that day is that we had a late night meeting and we had to meet with Mr. President. That was important and I had to go. But I don't think anybody should equate me now with issues of riding a private jet because now I'm a governor. So it's not proper for me anymore. You should have also asked me, I thought you should have asked me, how is your Rochas Foundation? And how are you coping with those over 15,000 children from poor homes you are training, that asking for them to pay school fees all over the country? This is Rochas, and don't forget that. So I saw that, received some comments, but that's very good. And at least it has let people know that I'm still here. So it has nothing to do with my person and my government. If it has anything, don't forget I was the first to make sacrifice of my security vote. And I want you to try and come down to Imo State and see what is going on there and see what is called governance in the real sense of it. And with the number of projects that is going on and how Imo State is changing for good to the glory of God Almighty, I think that is what is more important. Whether I have met up with my promises to the people, and that should not also affect my private life. I hate poverty and I hate injustice, and I don't wish anyone poor. So that has nothing to do with the state of economy.
All right.
Just an adequate sacrifice for humanity, even when I was counted as one of the few privileged Nigerians that has a bit of wealth. I've not forgotten the downtrodden, and I still do it. So see me in a private jet, or if I chartered one of $7,000 an hour, shouldn't be a big deal. And we'll do that when there's need for it.
Well, we'll talk about it in the future at another interview. We want to thank you because we had to track you down, and we know you have a lot to do over there. And we also have other guests that are coming on our show. And we promise now that we've been able to have this conversation with you, the first of its kind, I will talk more and more with you to see how governance is going in the direction of change as had been promised to the Nigerian people.
I appreciate Omoyele.
Omoyele is Sowore. By name, I'm Sowore. People call me by Sowore. Yes.
Do you have an English name?
No, because I'm not an Englishman.
I like that. You're a great Nigerian.
Yes.
And now look at my hand over my forehead in salutation. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Governor, for coming on our show, and I hope to see you soon again.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, that's been Governor Rochas Okorocha, the governor of Imo State, talking about state of the nation and his state, Imo State. Don't go away. We have a lot more coming for you on this show today. And see you next time.
Hey, beautiful.